really great friends, like-minded friends, just like me. Those are the best people. It saddens me to say that the ones that I've lost are the people that I argue with the most, non-Muslims like me. When they tell me all these terrible things that they think about Muslim people, or they want to generalize or stereotype all Muslim people as if they are responsible for all the acts of a minuscule few, okay? And I get into these arguments, and I try not to, and it drives my husband crazy. Because he has to deal with my mood afterwards. I get emotional. My main question to them, and I usually address this question very early on, and they try and sidestep it very much. I said, have you ever spoken to a Muslim person? Do you know one Muslim person? I'm sorry. And they do not. If they did, they would say yes right away, I'm sure. They've always got to say something. I've been threatened. My things have been said threatening about my own daughter, who's here with me today. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. What's to do is done this evening, that we can all open up and have dialogue. We're a little shy about branching out, and everyone who's come over to our table, we really appreciate it. We don't, it's not like we're here at some strange curiosity. Let's go check out the Muslims. We already feel in our hearts that we understand you as human beings. We are here to show how unified we feel with you. And there are so many like us. I'm getting to it. What's to do in this place, and all of you have done tonight, is invite us in. My question to these, and I feel for them because they are painfully ignorant, and that is their worst flaw, and it's all driven by fear. They do not know any Muslim people. They've never even spoken to one. I'm sure they have, but don't even realize. I'm wondering how our communities can, and I don't feel that the responsibility should be on Muslim people. I think it should be on all of us. And that communities, it shouldn't just be what Muslim people have to do to reach out, but what we can do, like maybe leaders of faith, like the Christian churches, the leaders there get together with the Muslim leaders. And maybe we can do events like this, the interfaith, because a lot of these things start with faith-based organizations. Getting the steel workers together with the iron or the electricians, maybe that wouldn't be the best way to go about it, but the faith leaders possibly. I'm going to leave it at that. Just know that we are just really grateful to be here, and we're here with all the love in our hearts.
First, I just want to say thank you so much, all of you really, for coming. I'll give you some examples as to what we can do, but I will tell you this. I will tell you that we are a part of the problem, as well as as an immigrant community, a lot of times what happens is that we get so into preserving our culture and preserving our religion within our own community that sometimes we forget that we belong to a bigger community at large, right? So, with that being said, we're still learning as well, right? We're still learning as an immigrant community, how can we approach and build this bridge without offending anyone because we're so different, right? Me personally, as I grew up, it was so hard for me to stand up for what was right in my own religion that a lot of times I prevented it completely by not going. Sometimes we had socials, sometimes we would have a lunch that had pork in it. I would choose, instead of asking for a lunch that didn't have pork in it, I would choose not to eat at all just because I didn't want to be different, right? And that's just me growing up. And that's, I think, what I mean by being unapologetically Muslim. That's exactly what that means. It's asking what is needed as a Muslim, being proud of being a Muslim without apologizing for being Muslim and making it uncomfortable for other people. That's what unapologetically being Muslim is all about. And there are things, the reality of it is that, we have a lot of our sisters that are here who now are afraid to really wear their hijab. A lot of it comes from just the fact that, some people just have this apologetic nature from us just because we're afraid. I can't belittle someone being afraid, but sometimes our leaders that are here, we have to be strong for those who can't, right? Who can't be, who don't have the confidence to be. So you're asking, how can we build that bridge? And you're absolutely right. Things like this is exactly what we can do to build that bridge. But there are also other things that we as a community need to do. And the things that we as a community need to do is we need to have open houses. We need to plan things with other communities that show, hey, this is what we're about. This is what our culture is about, right? And I'm going to be honest with you. You're saying that you can't blame our community, but I still do put the blame on my community for the simple fact that, we don't blame everybody. No. But essentially, in our nature, we have kind of isolated ourselves because it's so easy to create misconception when building a relationship, right? It's extremely easy. And a lot of times, just the nature of building a relationship, sometimes you point out some of the negative things before you even look at the positive. A lot of the questions, right, when I start to talk to people about Islam, is like, well, didn't you say that Prophet Muhammad, he married a woman at the age of 6? That's crazy. Why don't you talk to me about that? It's like, no, why don't we talk about some other stuff, like some of the stuff that we actually agree on. Let's talk about that first, right? So, the number one thing is, what I would advise to you and other people who try to get dawah is this. First, know the intention of the person and recognize whether or not it's even worth it to even have this discussion. That's number one. Because you can have whatever discussion you want to have, and if their intention is negative from the start, they're not going to change their mind. Number two is when you do start to talk to people about Islam, understand that it doesn't have to be rushed. It does not have to be rushed. And when I say it doesn't have to be rushed, it means that you're building a relationship. It's like anybody else. You're not going to love the person the very next day. That's only happened once, and that's with my boy right here, our friend. Love them the same day. No. But I hope I answered your question. Do we have any other questions? Ready?